Pokemon Legends Arceus, one of, if not the best Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch to date. Revolutionized the way we caught Pokemon, the way we battle, and how we just view the Pokemon world as a whole. With the release of Pokemon ZA, or in this case, Pokemon ZA, if you know what I mean, there are things that I hope Game Freak does and things I hope they don't do. So in this video, I'm going to go over my top 3 do's and don'ts for Pokemon ZA. If you guys do enjoy, please do your girl a favor. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated with growing the channel. Our next goal is to hit 5K subscribers, and a lot of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed. So do your girl a favor, subscribe, leave a like, comment. Also check out the Twitch if you guys are interested. With that, let's get into my first thing that I hope Game Freak doesn't do with Pokemon Legends ZA. First don't I hope Game Freak doesn't do is rush Pokemon Legends ZA. So we all know in the past few years, Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have been popping out Pokemon games left, right, side to side, in and out. We've been going a few years now with just straight Pokemon games. So for the first time in quite a minute, we have a year's break from a new Pokemon title being released. Pokemon ZA is coming out in 2025, and a lot of the die-hard community members are quite happy, including myself, because a lot of the games have been feeling very rushed. Ever since Sword and Shield came out and they didn't have the national decks and they had that whole national decks uproar, a lot of the games have been coming out really quickly and been lacking a lot of key features. Such as, post games, battle towers, and the biggest offender, in my opinion, the graphics fidelity. The optimization of the games ever since Pokemon Sword and Shield have been pretty subpar. The 3DS and DS era games were perfect. They were gorgeous. They were so memorable. The games ran pretty well on that hardware, but whenever Game Freak made that switch over to the Nintendo Switch, pun intended, the game quality from the graphics, the overworld, a lot of things, even the battle animations looked very lackluster, rushed, not polished, and quite frankly abysmal. So with Pokemon Legends Arceus, when it originally was shown, we have the infamous Chingling clip. I believe it's called Chingling. The Chimecho pre-evolution in like 3 frames per second. I know a lot of people, especially some friends and family members that I know that never really got to fully experience Pokemon Legends Arceus because of the graphics fidelity, the optimization issue, the frame rate issue. So one of my biggest don'ts is that they don't rush this game. I would like them to take their time, make sure the game runs flawlessly and runs very smoothly. We do have games like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, aka Tears of the Kingdom, that runs phenomenal on the Switch and shows the Switch's true power that it can produce. Now, I know a lot of people say the Switch is very underpowered, but I do feel a very large issue is that the games are not optimized to the Switch's highest capabilities. Case in point, Game Freak has been used to the DS and the 3DS for the past like 10 years before the Switch came around. So now to make the Switch to a different hardware, it's like they're having issues adjusting to it. So hopefully they do drop a Switch 2, which makes it easier to optimize the games that's coming onto that console going forward. Hopefully there's another reason why this game is pushed till 2025. But yes, biggest don't rush the game. Make sure the game runs smoothly. 60 frames per second is the minimum in 2024. Please, Game Freak, please. The first thing that I hope Game Freak does with Pokemon Legends ZA is to bring us more difficult boss fights. Pokemon Legends Arceus was beloved for a lot of reasons. The music, the reinvention of battles and catching Pokemon. But I feel like the biggest thing was the difficulty spike and how much different it was to our typical mainstream Pokemon games. Now, if you guys didn't know, Pokemon Legends Arceus is considered mainstream. I personally thought it was a spin-off game, being that it's very not it's very different, but at the same time it's still very closely similar to the regular games. But the battling styles of strong and agile style, some of our status conditions did not exactly work the same as it did in previous mainline games. So there was a bit of a learning curve for us OG slash veteran players, and I really did enjoy that. It made battles a lot more difficult. You had to learn some new things. It just wasn't like your typical Pokemon game. That's what made it very fun and very refreshing and even more difficult. Now, in particular, I would like to talk about the Volo boss fight, Mega boss fight. That boss fight was a work of art. Perfect, amazing, flawless, no flaws. All these words describe the Volo boss fight. The reason why it's good is because you sit here, you fight a deck of 6 Pokemon plus 1, meaning 7 Pokemon, the last one being a legendary Pokemon in its first form and the same legendary Pokemon in its second form. That's 8 Pokemon, 8 health bars you have to get to 0 with your only deck of 6. You only have 6 Pokemon on you, but Volo has like 8. And you don't get to heal in between the boss. You know, in Pokemon games, they heal your Pokemon before you take on the next thing. That doesn't happen. You have to beat Volo, all 8 of his Pokemon, granted 7, but it's kind of like 8, in one shot. Which took a lot of Poketubers, a lot of content creators, including myself, by surprise. It was absolutely amazing. It was just something about him having Cynthia's theme and team. His music is somewhat like Cynthia. Cynthia is one of the most beloved Pokemon champions of like all time. My first game was Pokemon Platinum, so I'm obviously I'm obviously like nostalgia like based. But even still, it's definitely widely known across the community that Cynthia is one of the hardest Pokemon trainers or champions of her time. And being that we're getting to see her ancestor in action and she literally has the same team as him and still as busted, especially with this game, how the level differencing and all that stuff comes into play. Still busted, still hard, and it's still like, okay, this was a good fight. And then he just pulls up with Giratina. Granted, that's the mascot of my channel, so you know I love that portion. And you beat it. Some people, like, if you didn't account for it and you're on like 1 Pokemon left, it's like terrible. But you get into it and you beat the Giratina and you're like, oh, awesome, this is done. That was great. That's great. And it's like, psych, that's the wrong number. And it transforms into its origin form from the altered form. That's crazy. That was peak cinema. So that right there was one of the hardest boss fights I've had in modern day Pokemon personally. It took me about 4 to 5 times to beat Volo. It was such a... I was getting filtered, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm typically a decent Pokemon like battler or whatever. Decent strategies to get through the game. But this right here was one of the best things I feel that made Pokemon Legends Arceus so memorable and enjoyable for us as a community. And I really do hope that they bring more hard boss fights to Pokemon Legends ZA. My second don't of this video is to not restrict the overworld environment in Pokemon Legends ZA. So that's a very broad topic. I'll try my best to break it down for you guys the best as I can. So what I'm saying is, I just hope they use the map to its fullest potential and there isn't places where it's unused and you can't go there. Kind of similar to Scarlet and Violet's map, where we have that weird corner by the bamboo forest that was never touched, like, at all. Like, at first I assumed it was going to be for the DLC, but the DLC took us to Kitakami and Blueberry Academy. We still don't have access to that area. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. I hope they don't restrict any of the overworld in that regard. Let us be free to roam wherever we like to roam. Legends Arceus, we still had a bit of a restriction. We had to go through gates and had to load into certain different areas. I know they said that game wasn't fully open world, like a semi-open world game, but I hope this one's fully open world where we can just traverse and go where we would like to go, and it's all one map essentially, and we don't have to go through loading screens or long loading screens or strange loading screens, because you do have that in Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Sometimes if you're trying to leave Mesagosa, you get into this weird, if you're flying through the air, it's not smooth. It's not a smooth transition. That's what I'm talking about. And while on the topic of the overworld, I also hope we're not restricted to Lumio City. I'm hoping that it's more of a Pokemon Legends Arceus situation where Lumio City is the basis for the games and we're able to explore outside the city. I'm really hoping. It says that the game takes place entirely in Lumio City, which I'm not too thrilled, but I understand because the size of the map from the teaser looks ginormous. Like literally looks huge. Okay, so I'm just hoping that the map is a little bit more fluid and isn't strange with loading times and how you transition from one part of the map to another. My second do that I hope they do for this game is bring back more ancestors. I think it was really awesome seeing the ancestors of existing Pokemon characters such as Clay. My was Marley's ancestor. We had Flint's ancestor. We had a lot of different characters getting love. We even saw Agatha and the Elite Four member for Sinnoh, the ground type. We even saw they're like related, which is kind of cool. Saturn's ancestor, etc., etc. I think it's really good on world building to see where these characters come from, in a sense, to see their connections to the past, who their ancestors were in the past, and see how that shaped the character that we knew, like currently in the present day, if you will. I really like that touch, and I do hope they keep it in Legends ZA. And my final don't for Pokemon Legends ZA is to don't base the game in the past. I feel like Pokemon Legends Arceus was done in the past of the Sinnoh region, aka Hisui. We went back in time, so for this game, I would like them to go forward in time. Based off the teaser trailer, it does seem that they are redeveloping Illumio City. Now, this is more of a theory going on here with me, but I do think this game is going to be in the future, and I would like them to do it in the future. I don't want them to go back to the past again, being we already did that with Legends Arceus. So my thing is, in Legends Arceus, we went to Juba Life Village. It was not a city, it was a settlement, because this is the first set of people that are coming over to Hisui to colonize it, in a sense. Without, well, we don't know if there's other indigenous people there. Maybe Kogita, maybe Volo, they were there. There wasn't a part of the travel over from neighboring regions to Hisui. So with that being said, it was called a village. It was a settlement, and this is a redevelopment of Lumio City. So my point that I'm making here is Lumio City is already established. So it's not gonna be super ancient past. If anything, I'm hoping that it is a future game. Even with Scarlet and Violet's themes, it's past and future. So it would be awesome to have them do this Legends game based in the future, where the ecosystems that in disarray. We have to see Zygarde, and we see all of that go down in person. So that's my biggest thing. I think this is a really good to show the past and present theme that Pokemon's currently going with Legends Arceus, Scarlet being past, and then Violet being future, and having the next Legends games be based in the future. Now, my final do of this video is that I hope that they fill in the incomplete Kalos story. For me, I do enjoy Pokemon X and Y just as much as the next Pokemon fan, but they usually rank lower in my tier lists because of one big thing. Those games were bare bone. I'm sorry to my nearest Kalos fan. The games weren't good story-wise. There were so many missing details, so many unused spots in Kalos. I can go on and on about the post game, literally just being the little battle town in the corner. We just battled Calamus Arena for money. Like literally, there was like not much to do after this post game. We just randomly found Zygarde in a cave. Nobody talks about Zygarde in the region. It's kind of crazy. So being that this game is literally called ZA, Zygarde better get justice for, you know, his story. I want Zygarde to be delved. I want to know what was Zygarde's story. Like, where did you come from? We understand you're the order Pokemon and you keep order within the region to prevent catastrophes, from hitting the ecosystem and causing like global like disarray. I understand all of that, but I feel like there's so much more Zygarde and AZ. We didn't even get AZ's Floette. There's so many things that were cut from this game that we need explained in this one. And that's my biggest do, one of my biggest do's that I hope Game Freak does. I need a full explanation of AZ, this Floette, and what's going on with Zygarde. Literally. With that, that is my last do. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys do enjoy, please remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe. You guys let me know if you agree with any of these do's or don'ts, or if you guys do have your own do's or don'ts, please put them in the comment section below. I definitely read the comments. I like to know you guys' ideas, theories, all that good stuff. With that being said, thank you again. Have a wonderful day.